The way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing.
Walt Disney.
Speak softly and carry a big stick.
Theodore Roosevelt.
The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams.
Eleanor Roosevelt. Curiosity fosters connection.
Death is not the greatest loss in life. The greatest loss is what dies inside while still alive. Never surrender.
Who said that?
Oh, back to it.
Hello.
Welcome to another episode of PIETalk Podcast with your host and co-host, B. Willis.
Priscilla Z and my favorite, No Chill Jill.
First things first, as you always know, we got the quote for you today. I still have a long way to go, but I'm already so far from where I used to be, and I'm proud of that.
Wonder who said it.
We'll tell them later towards the end of the show. You know how we do.
Well, welcome everybody to PIETalk, pursuing internal evolution always, every day. That's just what we do naturally, but we try to do it with a little bit of intentions. As we do it with intentions, we develop some skills and some tools to pop in our belt so that we can practically apply this stuff in our all day, every day. And then we offer our tools to our friends, of course. And that's why we're here with you. And if you guys ever want to engage with some of your pie, please make sure to throw those slices our direction as well. We appreciate you. Jill, would you like to maybe give us a heads up on who you are for the people that don't know?
Yeah, for sure. Well, first of all, thank you both for having me again. This is the PB&J.
PB&J show.
Delicious sandwich.
So yes, I am No Chill Jill, and my brand is called NuYou Cooking and Consulting, and also Nubo3 Lifestyle. And I am all about health and wellness and really empowering people through education to make healthful decisions. And really, when we feed our bodies well, we feed our mind well, and it all flows in hand. So that's what I'm all about, health and wellness.
I love that. One thing that I have to kind of shout out is that Jill is not only educated and certified and backed in what she's talking about, but I think you've lived a really long life of experience and some development in pie that has got you to where you're at today.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have definitely been on this journey for 25 plus years. So
Nice.
there's a lot, I won't take up too much time going into that story, but hit me up on NuYou Cooking, on Facebook or nuyoucooking.com, and connect with me. And I'm going to start really sharing my story more in depth about my journey, my personal journey to where I'm at today. And I have a lot of pie to share.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the School of the Hard Knocks. I've been an honorary member of that club for a long time. So those people that have actually walked the walk seem to offer a lot of peer recognition and understanding that really can pivot people's lives. So that's No Chill Jill all the way. She's got you handled. Speaking of our peers, I just have some comments today that I'd like to share with everybody. The one that's the most valuable to me is we recently did a little clip, and I don't know if y'all remember, but I got a little teary-eyed, started crying, and I was crying a little bit misty on the 5-year-old self. And the reason that I definitely was feeling those full volume feelings is because that's kind of how I look at everybody. I see all of us when we were our 5-year-old being. And so, like, even when I see somebody who's acting grumpy or kind of having a tough day, I look at them a little differently. And I just see that maybe they're a 5-year-old that no one's playing with on the playground. And there are a lot of feelings that get involved in that. I feel like Sarah Jean, she came in and she kind of said something really cool. It's fun to read. So here we go. She says, we all have an inner child. Love the concept of looking back to heal for us, but also our babies. I'm amazed that my emotional self is working at a level of a 17.5-year-old. Like, no wonder life's tough making big choices. Then she did hashtag we do recover, which is something I know that she personally is on a great journey of success. And she says, we recover with the help of community that there's to relate and guide us into some other healing. And she said, thanks for the pie with a little heart. And so thank you so much, Sarah, for following us and also offering that little bit.
Thank you. And you're very welcome.
Yeah.
And thank you again for contributing and engaging with us with pie.
Yeah.
Really appreciate that.
I'm like, Sarah's one of the people that I know that actually saves her pie. So she like waits and like she utilizes it as a tool, and she plays it whenever she really wants that piece of deliciousness to kind of perk her up, or when she maybe has time to put in her intentions into absorbing it. So that's really cool of you to give us your time. We appreciate you. I'm like, so next up right now off of the comments, I do have one little thing from a friend of mine that she did the work for the 10 things that she loves about herself, but we're going to hit that up, I think, in a little bit. So right now we're going to head to Keep Effing
Going.
Okay.
By our authors, Joshua Smith
and Jordan Davis.
We are on day 7, and as we always show hospitality where we're at, I will give day 7's read to No Chill Jill.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm honored.
I love it.
All right. So here we go with day 7. Keep effing going. Change is inevitable. Growth is optional. So true. Action item. Take a moment today to reflect on a recent change or challenge you faced. Think about how you responded to it and whether there were any opportunities for growth or learning. Use this experience as a reminder to embrace change as a chance to learn and evolve rather than resist it.
Ooh, I'm like, I've got one right now that's kind of interesting. Just happened today. So my hand got bonked today with a toy. Really random. Fell off a shelf. Went like this. Super simple. Wasn't anything crazy. My hand started to hurt really bad. I started to have like a little bit of a nerve problem in my hand. Now I could go about my day bopping along in pain. And I started to think like, what's up here? You know, like what's actually going on? So I did a little research. And it actually boils down to, you could look at your body as the divine masculine and the divine feminine energy. Feminine residing on the left side, and your hand being a source of creation. So I started to think, even though it was just like some simple thing, a challenge or change, is my hand doesn't feel that great. I decided to dig deeper, and now I'm thinking a little bit about how I am creatively making things happen with my feminine side, and about feeling maybe a little bit. Those nerve endings seem to be up and boiling a little bit. And so right now I'm taking this opportunity to not just have something be like shut down as a challenge and something that feels icky, and I'm using it as an opportunity to grow.
Love it.
I dig. Does anybody else here have something on their table?
No, I got something.
Yeah, of course.
No, like recently, actually, I had quite a challenge because, as we've talked about, you know, I got out like 13, 14 months ago, and I jumped into these jobs really quick. And so this is something that when you're, you know, fresh back into the work field and you're getting hired again, you need to pay attention to these details because one came back to bite me. And it was just lack of knowledge. I don't blame anybody for this. I filled out my W-4s wrong last year when I got hired to 2 jobs. So for the whole year, I wasn't having federal income tax removed. And then I'm like about to file a tax return, like, ooh, no,
Nope.
I owe, and I'm like, gross. So it was a huge challenge. It was a pivot because I do a lot of planning and manifesting and preparing based on things that I try to hope will be there when they are supposed to be there. And so a lot of us count on our tax returns, right? And so by doing that and then realizing not only did I make that mistake last year, I'm already coming into this year because I haven't changed it. So now I had to pivot. I had to pivot my mindset to a whole different financial situation coming this April where it would be this way and now it's way this way. And then I think, you know, I was texting back and forth with my wife about it, and she asked, I forget how she worded it, but she kind of asked how I was doing. and in the moment I was like, well, initially I was shocked, and I I was like, but I'm pretty sure I'm over it now, and I've developed a new plan now that I know what's what,
That's awesome.
what to expect, and how my checks are going to look versus how they used to look. Now I'm planning to just compensate, and so that's one way where I turned that kind of growth into something intentional and purposeful rather than looking at it like, oh, whoa, me, which I did at first.
Yeah,
for sure. Human.
I had a case of the human, which is another thing I'm going to bring up, which is really funny. Is my 6-year-old, he does this really whiny thing where he acts young. So
What?
My wife,
He acts young.
he's way younger than he is,
Like a
like a
3-year-old.
baby.
Oh, okay.
And so my wife's a little more reactive. She's working on that, getting a lot better. And I started looking, and I started to pivot with him, and I'm like, so what kind of medicine do you need? And he was like, what are you saying? I was like, I feel like you caught a case of the goo goo gagas. Like you're pretty deep down, and then you got a case of the babies, not the rabies, but you got the babies.
That's funny.
And he was just like, and then I seen the pivot. He starts smiling and getting cute, and it was like, I got you. Now I know what to say when he starts throwing his little tantrum. I'm like, oh, someone's got a case of the goo goo gagas again.
Right.
So if you're acting like a baby, should I treat you like a baby? And then he was just like, wait, what does that mean? See, babies don't play with PS5s and have little phones that they play on and stuff. And so he's like, he's starting to simmer down.
That's the best. We kind of do that. Well, we do that with Zai. And it's so funny because I'll be like, oh, it's a case of the humans. But I was like, oh, man, you got a case of the big feelings, or like I can see, ooh, is the sadness coming over you, And then she'll kind of pivot and do her own thing. And it's the coolest thing in the world. But she goes like this and she wipes the tears and she goes, oh, look, the sads are gone. it's a celebration, but it's just a pivot in the mindset. So I love that, dude. That's super cool.
Yeah, there's challenges every day, and really mindset. Everything comes down to mindset. And this is something that I've learned, over the last 2 years. I've honestly never experienced mental health before, but in the last 2 years, I was depressed for a lot of different reasons, health situation being the main thing. But coming out of that within the last 4 months has been a really pivotal time for me. Mm-hmm. And I really honestly have just started talking about it within the last couple of months.
Yeah.
Really. And I think that, it really honestly is all about how you decide to show up. And we can either make something a situation, or we can pivot and grow from it.
Yeah.
And it really just depends on what do you want to feel? How do you want to feel during your day? And and really, I just believe that everything really, for real, comes down to our mind and what we want to create.
What we want to feel. So my sister Betty, you always hear me yakking about her, but she's like the guru in so many ways. And if I told her that, she would say, don't say that about me.
Yeah, she would.
But one thing that so I have struggled with mental health, for infinity and beyond. Mm-hmm. It's been a part of my personality in a way. And just recently, actually, within the past couple months, I got the flip side of it. So I actually haven't really been struggling with it as much. But there was something that really clicked in my head that I've been told 100 million times by my sister Betty. So she would be in a situation that's kind of depressing, or she's in her feels or whatever. And then she would be like, okay, I'm done. Mm-hmm. And I'd be like, what do you mean you're done? How do you just be done? And she'd go, I don't like the way it makes me feel.
Totally.
I just really don't like the way it makes me feel. And I would be like, I know, but you have to be true to self. And she goes, no, I just was. Yeah. I was totally true to myself. Yeah. I know what happened. And she's not denying any bit of the experience. But what she does is she just feels it for a second, and then she chooses to pivot her perception.
Yeah.
And so lately I've been doing that at a faster rate than what I used to be able to do. But it's also because my perception. Because before, when she told me that, I was like, no, you can't do that. Yeah. You can't just get unsad. And I'm like, actually,
but you really can.
You really can.
It's acknowledging.
Yeah.
Acknowledge. And that's exactly how I felt. how I was able to move through it so quick, right?
Mhm.
Because it was like I didn't know that I was depressed, honestly,
Yeah.
for the whole entire time
Right.
until I realized,
That's Debbie.
this is depression.
Yes.
And then once I was able to recognize it and
Mhm.
acknowledge that this is what it is, then I was like, oh, okay, and now what?
And now what?
You know?
Right. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. And so now it's just like, okay, so now
love
I
that.
choose to show up, and now I choose to be able to give positivity and optimistic,
Mhm.
because before the last 2 years, it was like I had so much love and so much positivity to constantly give. In the last 2 years, I haven't. And so
Mhm.
now I'm in a place where it's like, okay, now I'm like able to give out that love
Some
and
of
light
it, yeah.
again, because I have acknowledged that challenge
Yeah,
to pivot and make it be like, okay, so now I understand I had to go through this in order to be able to be more relatable to other people. And it's all part of the process of
Pie.
having
Yeah.
pie and life experience.
100%.
You know?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like one thing, and I don't know the quote or where it all came from, but when you're feeling helpless, help someone.
Mm.
Because it takes it away from the self-woes and the self-pity, because you actually do have the ability to help somebody else. There's
sure.
always somebody else out there that's a little bit more down and out than you.
Mhm.
And then that gains the perspective and the understanding that you probably have it pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, and that even the other thing we can also maybe clarify too right now, because we could be hurting feelings. But like, I do understand that mental health is a struggle, and that there are some times and cases where hormonally there's some imbalances going on, and there's some stuff happening in the body that maybe isn't just a thought away from fixing. And so we do feel very grateful to be at the position that we're at, to be able to stop, think about it, and pivot the conversation.
Mhm.
But if you do have that ability, you should utilize it, because it's a superpower, man.
Yeah.
This is a super cool ability for us all to share. And a lot of people out in the world really do have the ability to pivot their perspective.
And I always say that our mindset, or ourselves, are our greatest friend and our greatest foe.
Oof.
Right? Because with our mind, that is the most powerful tool that we literally have,
Mhm.
right? And so we can think ourselves sick, and we can think ourselves healthy.
100%.
And that just like is the superpower
Absolutely.
that we have, is our mind is the greatest tool that we have, for sure.
Yeah, my dad, he would say, you are your greatest counselor. You are your greatest therapist. And we'd be like, no, Dad, that isn't the case. But the truth is that you can sit in front of the best therapist in the world, and you can lie out your teeth to that therapist.
Well, because I want to interject on that, and it's going with what you're saying, is true therapy happens with the buy-in.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter how good a therapist is, doesn't matter how good a peer is, how good a friend is. If you don't buy into the fact that A, you recognize you need some type of help, and B, you buy into the fact that someone can provide a space where you can navigate that trauma and just go back and forth with someone. Like, you have to buy into recovery being possible by first admitting that there's something to recover from.
Yeah.
There's something to heal.
Right, for sure. And to go off of that, so in my brand, NuYou Cooking, I have this acronym called DCD NuYou. So D is for decide. We first have to decide, what are we going to do? And you have to get really, really clear on making that decision, because your why has to make you cry. Okay. And then C is commit. In that stage, we have to figure out, what do we need to be committed? Do we need to hire somebody to help us? Do we need a personal trainer? Do we need a nutritionist? What do we need to be able to commit? And then D is do it. Just do it and go for it and stay consistent. And I always just have people write sticky notes around your house and figure out like what it is that is going to make you stay so committed on this journey, and have people, accountability partners, whatever it is.
Mhm.
But DCD NuYou,
I
because we can
love
always
it.
evolve into the NuYou. And the story, I'm not going to go into like how NuYou came into fruition.
Next episode you can.
But yes.
On part 2.
Yes.
Jill's here for 2 episodes, you guys.
Yeah.
So we're doing our thing. And the next episode, for a particular reason we'll talk about then, Jill will be here again. So you'll see PB&J twice in a row.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's like your mom packed you 2 sandwiches.
Double the fun.
Yeah.
Double the pie.
So yeah, I didn't mean to cut her off, but
No.
I got to
Yeah.
save it for next one.
Yeah.
Because what we're going to dig into Jill next episode, like all the way.
We're going in.
Yeah, we want to find out what kind of flavor the J is. All right, so I was going to ask a question, but I think we all kind of answered it with the Keep Effing Going challenge. And in the past 7 days, and this was just for you that are watching, in the past 7 days, identify a win.
Ooh,
Just identify a win for yourself.
I love
You
it.
can drop it in the comments, or you can just do it just for yourself. I'd love to hear about your wins, because often we hear the negativity. We hear the things that we don't like. We're so adept and so comfortable saying and speaking on the things that we find wrong with ourselves or with our lives or our partners or our jobs. So just take a moment and just think, in the past week, identify a win.
I love that. I'm like, so we could end up into our challenges if you would like to from last week, and we could talk about some personal wins that we've developed over time. So last week last episode, we talked about 10 things that you like about yourself. And if we're thinking about perspective and pivoting, you could have asked me this question probably like 10 years ago, and I would have told you maybe one thing. Just because it wasn't something that I really cared about, because I didn't really care that much about myself. So now I went out and I investigated this concept of the 10 things, and I asked a friend, I asked a couple different people, and I started to notice that everybody is different when it comes to this situation. So some people I asked, I said, could you come up with 10 things? And they said, hell no, they could not. They said maybe they'd come up with 3, a couple people could come up with 5, but 10 almost seemed like way too much from them, which is okay. That's just where they're at right now. So my friend, who I love, her name is Sam. She has been on a wonderful journey in self-discovery and recovery. And it's really cool to hear the things that she shared. So I, with her privilege and honor, I get to share the things that she came up with. So
Sweet.
the 10 things that Sam came up with, which ended up only being 7, but that's okay. She said, I love my love for God and the faith that I have. Number 2, she loves the patience, tolerance, and acceptance that is growing in her. Number 3, she loves her willingness and open-mindedness, as well as her honesty.
Wow.
I love it.
Good one.
Number 4, she loves these things, but I also love these things. I love her hair. I love her face. I love her smile, and I love her eyes, and I'm glad she loves all of those things too. Number 5, she says, I love my flesh suit. Number 6, I love my laugh and silliness. Number 7, I love the attitude of gratitude that I have. That was
Love it.
Great to
Good
read.
job, Sam.
I'll just rattle off mine really quick. So for me, I love my mind. I love how active it is, and my brilliant brain. Because it's brilliant, it's super active, and I enjoy my time with that now. Took me a minute. I love, number 2 is my resilience and my dedication to survival. Always showcase that, showing it now even more. Number 3, I love my work ethic, which is something that I used to despise. But I love it now because I always get up and I always do something. And it doesn't matter. I could be sick. I will still get up. I will still do something. I have to always be on the move. Number 4 is my level of loyalty. I am loyal like a lion. Number 5, I love my flesh sack so much. This body, it completely spontaneously grew Zyla and birthed her. And that, if you could just sit with that any day, it is a trip to really think about. That is so cool. That is a superpower. I love my soulful eyes. I love that my eyes can tell a story, or I can make eye contact with someone and I can have a full conversation. Number 7, I love my ever-changing and growing strengths as a parent, because I didn't come off perfect off the bat, but man, am I evolving, and I always will. The best teacher for my parenting skills happens to be my kid.
Right.
Number 8, I love my original sense of humor. I think that I'm kind of funny. And maybe not everybody else does, but I sure do. And so I definitely love that about myself.
That's all that matters.
Right, exactly. And sometimes I'm even crude and like really bad, off-putting, but I don't care because I actually really do think it's funny. So then number 9, I love my sweet and sensitive heart. And I used to think that that was a disability, but now I believe that that is my superpower. And then number 10 is I love my ability to adapt and progress in any given situation. And I end up coming into my power, which is problem solving skills. So it doesn't matter where I'm at. I feel like I'm on like survival, like game show every day. I'm like, okay, let's do this. Let's pivot. Let's figure it out. And I love that my brain works that way. It's really fun. So who's up next?
Cool. Well, I'll go next.
Perfect.
Okay. So, all right. So I have kind of like a range of different ones.
Love it. Yeah.
So I love the way that I am so compassionate to other people and able to understand where people are coming from. Maybe I not have gone through the exact situation, but I have the empathy to understand where people are coming from.
That's awesome.
I have learned through my own trials and tribulations to be an effective communicator. So
I like that.
I have, through my personal development, I have committed to always speaking the truth in the moment, no matter how uncomfortable it is, because one of the commitments that I made to myself is to always be uncomfortable. That's when we grow the most. How I'm able to relate to others, I had already said that at the beginning.
That's awesome.
I feel really grateful that I can be a baby and animal whisperer.
Ooh, this is cool. That's
And
a big
I
one.
really have a deep connection.
Doula powers.
Yeah. Yes, that's right. I was, a doula for a while, and I can remember being a young girl and just having this love for babies and this intense like curiosity of babies. So that's why
That's awesome.
wanted to be a doula, and I witnessed a lot of births and had a really cool experience doing that.
Very cool.
My work ethic is insane. I grew up on a farm, and so from a really young age, I was put to work. And now, as an adult, I really do appreciate that, work ethic and my authenticity. I'm very authentic, and I do me, and I love that. That I just feel like I don't really care so much about what people think, and I'm just gonna do me for me because I want to.
I love it.
My phone keeps shutting off. Okay, so I can pivot through any situation.
Yes.
I think that's really important in life and in business, especially when we have one narrow mind, we tend to not be able to pivot. And so in business, it's really, really important that we are able to pivot, and also in personal life too. You have to be fair and flexible and be able to go with the flow. And one thing that I do love about myself is that I am a really creative cook, and I can basically whip up a really great tasting meal with just a few ingredients, with no recipe. And really I'm self-taught, And I really pride myself on especially vegan cooking because that's what I have the most experience with. And recently just started cooking with meat within the last like 2 years. So without knowing how to cook meat, I'm pretty good at cooking meat now.
That's awesome.
And then this is like a weird, a weird one, but I can fold my tongue into 3 parts.
Ooh, superpower! I love
You
it.
gotta
So I
throw
think that's
something
kinda
in there.
weird.
You got that's
I
unique.
actually think statistically it's like pretty like very slim to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So you statistically are like quite a wonder.
You know?
Yeah. Well, statistically, you're one of a kind.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
That's a fact. All right, so let's open the veil into B, right?
Ooh.
My number 1 is I don't need a lot of rest.
You and Threat. Hello.
Yes.
Oh gosh.
And
So that leads to number 2.
Not a lie either.
Is my inner drive. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know how to turn it off. I just know that there's something in me that's just like go, 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 go. And I ride that wave all the time.
Yes.
3 is my physical strength. I like that about myself. 4 is I have the ability to sleep through tattoos. I have tattoos all over my upper body for sure, and I'll be getting some more. And even on like my big chest piece, I got a dragon right here. Like I was knocked out.
Wow.
And it wasn't drugs or any. I just put in some earbuds. I can go to sleep through some of the most painful artwork.
Wow.
Yeah. 5 is I've got some music videos out there, and I've been on a reality show once. That's unique, interesting. Not
And they're
everybody.
like actually good, which is also kind of
Listen.
cool.
They are dope. Number 6 is very interesting. I used to have a super short fuse anger explosive disorder problem thing. And now I don't. When people meet me, one of the things they can speak about is the way I am. I'm very calm in 99.9% of situations.
Mhm.
And I'm very calm when it comes to like my kids causing reactive activation in me, and I'm able to still just kind of look at that thing almost to the point where they're like, "Dad has no emotions." It's not that. It's just that I've fought so hard in my life to beat down this anger problem that was a narrative given to me ever since I can remember. And I had to battle that narrative within myself and within society. And so now maybe I overcompensated in that war because I won.
That's awesome.
Number 7 is I'm able to advocate for change strongly, and I believe in it. And I'm able to change minds about me. You know, people will come with their preconceived notions about me, especially based on my past, and I don't blame them. So it's like one of those challenge things where challenge accepted. You think this about me? Well, I can show you better than I can tell you you're wrong. I can braid hair, which I just told Priscilla
I
about.
know, that's what I was just laughing
And
about.
I'm hella good at it. It's not just like a
That's
thing.
so funny.
I've been doing hair for a long time. I'm a sponge for new concepts. My mind can be changed with supported, intelligence, with facts, with things that I can believe a narrative. And if you can show me proof, I'm not going to double down on something that I've just been informed was wrong. I can accept that. Oh, okay, that sucks. I've been thinking this the whole way, for a long time. But and 10 is I'm free in my authentic self. I've said it before. I let myself free from prison years before I ever got out of physical prison, and so that's a skill. That's something I'm happy to have done for myself, and I'm proud of.
Absolutely. I'm like, I have to say, like, because you know how people are like, they're in control of their emotions and like the anger concept that you just brought up. I watched B do some practical application on this one. And I literally walked out of the room doing this like happy, goofy dance thing because I could not believe how much stuff he had, more self-control than any male I had ever seen on the face of the planet in this given situation. Like, I think the primal nature in any male would have been to all of their testosterone out, and he just sat there just calm and peaceful, and he actually started to problem solve and ask curious questions. Anyways, I was blown away. So absolutely a toot.
I love that.
It was incredible. It was so incredible. So
It was hard to do though, because there was other factors and other contributing humans and
there
opinions.
was so
and
much going on.
The tide was rising really fast from all different angles about this particular situation. So it was a fun challenge.
It was cool though because it was like in real time, and to be very, very honest, is he had to stop and think about it very quickly, and he was able to take man, I just saw the tools flying out of his belt left and right, and he was kind not only to the person who, in my personal opinion, I don't think deserved kindness. And that's my own anger problem, but he was kind to that person, and then he was also kind to every single human being in the room. So there were so many different factors of where his ability to control his anger was actually helpful to so many people, all in one consecutive movement. So it was beautiful, man. It's really cool to see how we can grow and progress. Mm-hmm. Absolutely, amen. Thank you guys for sharing the cool stuff about yourself. I really appreciate the vulnerability and honesty. And if you guys want to come out and share some things about you, I'd really love to hear it.
Or just think about them.
Yeah. It's fun to see what people do with this. It looks like we had 3 different versions that were very different and how we all looked at ourselves. And so it's kind of fun to maybe see what you think about yourself.
And also I think it's really important too, because it's a way to honor ourselves. And sometimes when you are feeling down and out, it's hard, to find something that you love about yourself. But when you're able to dig deep and look at yourself in a different way, you can always go back to that list and be like, oh yeah,
that's right.
This is what I love about myself.
I love it.
And you can add to that list anytime you want.
That's right. Stop at 10.
That's right.
I love it. Is anybody up for another challenge?
We have 3 of us, so you're getting 3 challenges that you can choose from, or if you like all 3 as we deliver them. Yeah,
it's time to level up, right?
That's right.
Better than yesterday. 127. 27.
What does the front say?
Oh. Be right back. Gotta meditate. You want to trade? I think this year. Download a meditation app on your phone. Huh. Oh, I like that. Short daily meditation sessions create a habit of compassionate self-awareness.
Mm-hmm. I love this. I would have never thought to get an app.
Oh yeah,
but that's
apps for everything.
There's actually this one that I have.
That's so awesome.
So it's called Breeze.
Breeze.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And
cool.
Breeze is one that you can, it's like a journal / meditation / awesomeness. So Breeze.
Okay. Is that spelled just the way Breeze is spelled? Breeze?
Correct.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Super
there it is.
If y'all are interested in the Breeze app,
check it out.
No Chill Jill recommends it.
Again, if you know of any apps, send them our way. This is new to me, man. I'm like an old lady when it comes to technology. Today, we donate. Better Than Yesterday, number 92. Donate a couple of items from your wardrobe that you no longer wear. Giving and providing support to others feels good and actually makes a difference. So I have an affirmation for everybody that leads up on this one. But you say this. You say, And it doesn't matter really where you're at in life, like financially or anything like that, because this is legit how we all can look at life. I have so much that I always have enough to give. That right there not only gives to others around you, but it creates a thought of abundance within your life. And it actually is the truth. Like, you're not lying. Like, I know everybody can go in their closet and you could find one or two things that you could go give to somebody.
Totally.
Then the neatest part about it is you really feel good. Like, it makes you feel so full and incredible. And it might even take some weight off your back because you got too much stuff around. And then it also helps other people. So, man, loving that.
I want to go off of that for a second. So we all know that we could donate to Value Village or Goodwill, right? Cool. However,
Where Jill's going with this.
These are
chill.
I got no chill for a reason, okay?
Good.
So these are billion-dollar corporations.
Absolutes.
Okay? So instead of donating, donate to a local charity, a local church. Always has, donation boxes. Also, during the winter time, if you have coats or jackets or sweaters or whatever, keep them in your trunk.
Yes.
And when you see somebody,
My sister.
give it to them.
Betty.
Also, if you have bags or suitcases, bring them to your local shelter or foster care system, because a lot of times those kids have just like a trash bag, and you know how much they would be grateful for an actual bag to put their belongings in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's super dope.
Another thing too, and this is a note from Betty that I really loved, but so there are a lot of people out there that have bigger sizes, like they're really tall people, or you can tell they have larger shoe sizes. And so when donations come across the table, they're not getting things because of their size. And so what my sister has done is there's one gentleman that she always saw downtown Olympia. She sees him all the time. And she finally just asked him, what size shoes do you wear? And could you take these shoes? And then when she's at Goodwill or whatever, she just drops a couple bucks on a pair of shoes that are a little extra large, and then keeps them in her trunk, because next time she sees them, which she knows she's gonna, she just drops them off for him, and man, it doesn't take much time or money to do that. And that could be life changing to somebody. Shoes are literally make or break when it comes to survival. So kind of think outside of the box when it comes to donating. Like Jill's saying, there's just so much more that we could do.
Yeah.
We could filter that into a lot of other places. Go to Goodwill, buy something, and take it out.
Yeah. Also, one more thing on that.
I love it. Keep going.
Okay. So it's not about clothes or shoes in this, what I'm about to say. When you're at a restaurant, always take your leftovers.
Agreed.
Always take your leftovers. And it's kind of a universal knowledge to people out on the street. If there's a to-go box on top of a trash can,
yes,
that lets them know that is good food to eat.
Yes.
So never throw your food away. Always put it on top of a trash bin, or go find somebody to give it to, and you will make their day.
I did not know that.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah.
You learn something new every day.
When there's a ledge over a building too, and a little awning or whatever, pop it there so that it doesn't get wet.
Right.
And totally the street community is all about it. The other thing, I believe I talked about it on an episode recently, but right when you have all those leftovers in your house and you know that in a couple days they're going to go bad, bag them up, get in the car, and when you drive to work, just hand them out the window, man.
Yeah.
People are ready for the food. They need it. It's a real big need right now in our community, and it's something that we just, you can forget about it if you want. You can make it not your business, but the people are right next to you, and they're your brothers and sisters too, so make sure to remember them, okay?
Yep, and speaking of donations, we're actually doing an Easter basket drive for Pursue It If You Want It. So you can go to pursueitifyouwantit.org or the Facebook page, and there's a GoFundMe that if you want to do it that route, or if you wanted to just go to one of my Facebook pages and get in touch with us. If you're local, we'll come grab some items so that we can give justice impacted families, the kids of those family members that are incarcerated, some Easter baskets, and we've been collecting those for about a month now. So There's another way you can donate.
I triple dog dare you to become a philanthropist in your community. All right?
For sure.
What you got?
So this is I love your energy.
Oh, love yours.
Oh.
I really do.
Better than yesterday, 138. So this goes into the donation aspect and the food, pay it forward.
Yeah.
Tell a stranger, I love your energy.
Yes.
You look so happy.
Yes.
Words are powerful.
I mean, that's an affirmation. If somebody's feeling good,
Yeah.
and then you walk up and tell them, wow, like you have this, especially if they're a stranger, and you're like, your energy is on fire. You look really happy. Like, do you mind? Like, what's going on in your life? Like, I want some of that. You know, just validate that person's ability to have given off this vibrant energy of just goodness. Totally.
So it says a deep compliment like this is one they will never forget.
Oh,
and that is so true. I always, whenever I go out to a grocery store or any store, my mission is to talk to one person.
I love that.
And really compliment somebody. And especially when a woman compliments another woman, that is so deep and meaningful. So be genuine,
Absolutely.
Be genuine, because your positivity and your love and light can truly make a difference in somebody's life.
I love that. One thing that I do, because I remember being a mom at the beginning of being a mom, and like when you're out with a brand new baby, there are so many different opinions about kids and like how you're supposed to navigate being a parent. Well, I was the kind of parent to where I'm taking my kid everywhere with me, and I didn't really care if it made you feel uncomfortable, because my kid was going with me. I took my kid to work every day. Like, that's just, these are the breaks. And so I know that it took bravery for me to do that. So when I see a mom with like a fresh little newbie, I am always like, wow, like, I love how awesome you are. You're so brave for bringing your baby out and like offering your baby to our community. Like, I love the energy that you bring when you bring your little one into our world. And I genuinely mean that, because those babies, they change the vibe for everybody. You might not even like kids, and you will start to like kids when you see a fresh one, like that. So, but it also, I think, shows the mom that like they're doing a really great job in a time where emotionally they might be really on the rocks or very sensitive about their choices, So back people up in the ways that you see they might need a little nudge of love.
Yeah.
I dig
it.
I'm like,
it's that PB&J energy. I'm just feeling it. So we have a fun topic where we're basically going to start the topic in this episode, and then next episode we're going to pick up kind of where we left off and then get into Jill, because that episode is going to be all about Jill.
I didn't know this, guys.
Got her. See, we invite people here to this place called the bakery, right? And then we bake pie, and then they dig into themselves and they grow.
And she's our favorite ingredient this time.
Oh boy.
Diabolical witchcraft.
I'm like,
this is the tree that we grow.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. So I'm going to start off with something my dad used to sing, and he was always humming, and every time he was working, he was singing stuff. And I don't even know the whole words to the song, but he would sing, signs, signs, everywhere there's signs. Okay. And that is our topic. It's signs, 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 because they're everywhere. And there's so many different directions that we can head into the concept of signs, and then also how we can take them as clues or hints to pursuing our internal evolution.
Yes, because the universe does give us a lot of hints about things, and it's all types of cultures all over the world have different signs and different omens and different, some people use the word superstitions. I don't, because what somebody believes is what's going to manifest in that person's life. So what I might call a superstition for somebody else, to them that's a reality. That's like a real thing. That's medicine or that's something to avoid. And it has that power because we are what we agree to. Mm-hmm. We say it so often because it's true, right? Whatever narrative you believe, whatever spiritual powers you believe in or don't, that's what's true for you. That's your reality. So we're just going to get into, there's 13 like average, like universal signs, and we're going to pick a few and touch on them.
So it's kind of funny that you just said that these books, I have some notes about this. And when we have beliefs, okay, our beliefs and like that, we are what we agree to. That is going to back up your ability to see signs and to acknowledge signs. Mm-hmm. Okay. So like I have the first one on the list of the most 13 common signs is animals. And so one thing that happened in my life, and I'm going to go to a story about an atheist at the same time. So it's kind of fun because an atheist doesn't believe in these sort of signs from above, where I believe in these signs from above. So my mom dies, right? And when my mom dies, I have not ever seen butterflies. And to be honest, I used to think butterflies were cheesy. I'd be like, of course you like butterflies. Like that's, or whatever. I always am cheesifying, judging people for liking butterflies. Then my mom dies. And I swear to you, these butterflies were smacking us in our face, like flying everywhere. And my mom liked butterflies. Yeah. And my mom and my dad died. She said that she felt his heart and it fluttered like a butterfly. And I thought, ugh, cheesy McGeezy, and I'm trying to discredit her signs even. And then she passes away. When she passes away, these damn butterflies go everywhere. Okay. Now at one point there was even 6 butterflies, and there was my mom, my dad, and then we have 4 siblings. So it was like 6 of us all moving and grooving around. Well, one of my siblings decided to kind of play along with this concept, but they don't believe in the afterworld. They kind of have an atheist sort of perspective. And a butterfly started to follow this particular person. And then that particular person said, "Okay, Mom, is it you?" And started to mock the concept. And then said, "If it's you, keep following me." And then they kept walking, and that butterfly done chased them, and it went right in their face. Now, this person shared this story and was even kind of excited about it, but then said, "Yeah, well, you can make anything like that happen or put time and energy into it if you want to believe that that's something that you want to believe in. And then, of course, you can make it real." So it was kind of an interesting perspective for me, because even though they got, like in my book, I would be like, "Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo!" Signs, they still were on the fence of whether or not that was a sign to them or not, or if they made it into one. So this concept really of like what you believe is a huge factor into why signs hold value.
Yeah, definitely. And then we have angel numbers is one of them. Again, I'm big on that.
I'm big on that.
Jill's big on that. And so this episode, you guys, if you're watching it on the premiere day, premieres on 2/22.
Hey.
So
maybe you'll watch it at 2/22.
Maybe you'll watch it at 2/22.
Get some more affirmations.
The angel number 2/22.
Right here. I don't have it listed on here, but I can look it up.
Here, look, we got this book right here.
Oh, girl.
Jill has the book.
Jill's
right here.
Got the book.
Boom.
With the resource.
You check it out. Oh, with the resource.
I got the book.
Angel numbers 101. She would bring this book.
I love it when people override Google with a book. That is just the best to me. So thank you for the override.
We read. All right. So trust that everything is working out exactly as it's supposed to, with divine blessings for everyone involved. Let go and have faith.
I love it.
Yeah, It is what it is. I like it.
Absolutely.
Yep.
One thing that I've talked about before on previous episodes is 111. That amplifies your thoughts. So we want to be really careful about what kind of thoughts we have in our head, because if you have stinky ones and it's 1111, well, you're going to have some
Manifest
stinky
that.
affirmations coming your way.
Your phone on?
Yeah.
I think I sent you some other stuff on the 222.
I know that one thing that I do know when it comes to numbers too, for me personally, and again, it's what I believe. But when I see multiple digits, I do believe that it is the people above us. Maybe it's the ancients, the ones that have passed before us. And so I don't actually associate with any number of synchronicity, 111, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, it doesn't matter what it is. I don't even really need to know exactly what it means. All I know is angels are backing me up, like whatever that is. And it could be different versions of how they're backing you up, but it's a sign from something.
Yeah.
So 222 also says the angel number 222 is believed to symbolize balance, harmony, and spiritual alignment. It encourages enhanced connections in personal and professional life. And the other thing it says is strengths. In terms of positive aspects, the angel number 222 calls to take note of what you want, where you are, and how you can learn and grow. 222 is pie.
I love it.
Hello. Yeah. So one of the things that I found through angel numbers is they show up anywhere. And it's about like just recognizing it. And it doesn't have to be a triple sequence number. Like one of the ones that is really holds a lot of significance for me is 808.
Yeah.
And in my health journey, that's one of the first numbers that I saw when I recognized that I had to go through this health situation in order to be of service to other people. And so when you're starting to learn about angel numbers, I feel like it's important to always go to the same resource. And so, for instance, like the resource that I like to go to, because I used to carry this book in my car, but this book only goes up to 999, you know, and there's a lot of different other sequences, right? So I really, you know, like to go to Joanne Sacred Scribes, because she goes really, really in depth about what this angel, you know, number is, and gives you like the attributes of the numbers, the combination of the numbers, and it just really goes really in detail. So
I love
I
that.
like that.
So I like that you bring up, so signs everywhere there's signs, right? So has everybody, we're from Olympia, or I'm from Olympia.
I'm not.
Yeah. But we've got a lot of Olympia roots going on in our development, and there's something called the 360, okay? So when everyone talks about there's something in the water, right? Because you drink the water here, and then you're kind of like stuck here. It's like kind of like a vortex in a way. Well, what is the 360?
360 degrees.
It's a full circle. So you're always going to come back is essentially it. So I know people that have been like, I'm done with that place. I'm never coming back there. And then they retire here. Or, you know, or like they're done with this place, and then they end up on a show here. So like, it's just incredible how that symbology of that number can actually create something within your world and a manifestation. Olympia means little gods. So it's like the city of the little gods. And there's a lot of interesting, really different people here in this town. And everybody leaves. And I don't know if you've ever noticed it, but like I've been on an airplane going somewhere and then coming back home. And I can sit in the airport, doesn't matter where I'm going. And I can be like, you're coming home with me, and you're coming home with me, and because I know the type of like authentic, eccentric human beings that are more than likely going to board the plane and head back to the 360. I'm wondering what 360 means in your book.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It'll be interesting to see, because this is obviously unscripted and unplanned.
There it is.
Heaven is helping you meet your needs and is providing for you, Give any worries or concerns to God and the ascended masters. So it seems like a pretty safe place to be.
360.
It says that Olympia is a little bubble of its own.
I love it. So the next up on the list right now that we're just going to touch, and they'll probably all intertwine, is intuition.
Ooh, I was going to bring that up.
I intuitively thought so too. So it says right here that the
hey, 555 guys.
I love it.
You gotta check what 555.
Okay, so let's read what the angels are saying on back of this.
I said that to you.
What? 555?
Yeah, pull it up. It's in one of those pictures, I believe.
All right.
This is the best. So it says huge changes are rumbling throughout your entire life.
Bam.
To keep these changes on the highest possible course, be sure to keep your thoughts positive and stay centered in prayer and affirmation.
Yes. And pie.
That's what that is.
And this one says, what the angel number 555 can apply to the areas of love and romance because it reduces to 6 in numerology.
Okay.
In numerology, you reduce a number by adding the digits together until you get the single digit number. So,
I'm digging.
Yeah. It doesn't really go much more into the one that...
Well, you know...
Oh, wait, no, hold up. It says, seeing angel numbers... Oh, this is just in the general scheme of what it means to see angel numbers.
Yeah, it's just...
Yeah.
Go ahead and read it. It's kind of cool, but it just basically says...
So it says, seeing angel numbers can signify green lights towards whatever path you are taking, whether it be in relationships, job opportunities, or other life occurrences. In numerology, patterns always come in sets of 3, and the more repetition of a number, the better. Which is on the third topic that we're bringing up, which is intuition. So extra interesting. We got another 3 hitting us up. And there are 4 concepts within intuition that are the 4 primary ways that you can apply intuition. So it says clairaudience, okay, which is your intuition that comes to you as words or a voice. There's clairvoyance, which is the intuition that comes with you seeing images. Looks like clairsentience, I believe. Yeah. Which is your intuition comes from a physical feeling or sensation. And then claircognizance, which is your intuition comes from you as knowing through instantaneous downloads or insights. So I got to go to Zai on this one because that girl's clairvoyant like no other. Like she guesses her damn Christmas presents. So, and this started like when she was 3. She said, "Thank you, Santa." And then she went, "Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad." And she knew exactly what came from who and all of that. So this girl is on point. But I don't stop her clairvoyancy. I don't shun it. So when she says things, I'm like, wow, kid, that totally makes sense to me. I love it. And she says that she sees pictures in her brain. She says, "Mama, I can see the pictures in my brain and then I know what's going to happen or I know what we're going to do." That's awesome.
And like, it's right down to activities. We'll try to surprise her or something. And she'll be like, "Oh, we're going to go see Harry Potter." And I'm like, "We're going to the Harry Potter exhibit." How did she know? But like, she has that where I don't see pictures as much as her, but I like hear something in my head. Like I have more clairaudience. So like I will just hear a sentence that'll be like, "So and so really needs you," and then I'll write them and be like, "Hey, you know what's going on?" And they'll be like, "My world is crashing. How the hell did you know?" You know. And so what's interesting is I think with Zai is she has the ability to quiet her mind from the expectations of society and the real world because she's still a child. And so she's in this like really euphoric land of her own mind and power. And for myself, the only way that I can get into intuition that way is if I kind of like, I got to really chill out and I got to stop trying to force things in life and allow the stuff to come to me. Do you guys have any of that going on in your world?
For sure. I'm very intuitive. Yeah. Just my sign is a Pisces, and we're very intuitive creatures. And so I really tap into that. I don't second guess my intuition at all.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think if you identify in any way as an empath, pay
Mhm.
attention to those gut feelings. Pay attention
Mhm.
to when somebody is giving you some energy, whatever type of energy it is, you're going to get a read on that. Pay attention to that. That's a sign. You know, somebody, when we talk about, and I don't want to get all dark, but, you know, there are times where people put out the energy and you could stop potentially something bad from happening or that person doing harm to themselves, you know, and that's a real thing. And so
It is.
pay attention to all the signs that are around you. We're going to get more into the signs in the universe and a few other things in the next episode. But right now, we're going to pull up these 4 agreement cards, and then we're going to reveal who said that.
Kind of wrap it up. I always feel like the guest should go first, but it's actually the guest's choice. So.
Absolutely. I'd love to go first.
Okay, perfect. There's
So-
the cards, my dear.
We do both of them or one?
Up to you.
I'll do both. Might
Okay.
as well. They're both here, right?
Sounds good.
All right. So the first one is ask for what you want. Don't make assumptions. So that's so true. You never know, right? You don't know what you're going to get until you ask. So find the courage to ask for what you want. Others have the right to tell you yes or no, but you always have the right to ask. Likewise, everyone has the right to ask you for what they want, and you have the right to say yes or no. And with that being said, these are called boundaries.
Ooh, I just learned about those.
You know?
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never used to have boundaries either
Right.
in my previous
New
life.
development. And did you know that no is a complete sentence?
Yes, it is.
Just figured
and
that
that's
out.
where I was just going to go with that. You don't have to explain yourself. No. Or I decline.
Yeah.
Yes. And I like that it's a two-way street.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I'm not just going out there saying no for the fun of it. I'm saying no because I value my no.
Right.
And on the reverse end, you may say no too, and I'm going to value that as well.
Yeah.
Like, it's not about being harsh. It's
Right.
just about being
No.
honest with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I dig it.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is I used to have a homeboy in prison, and he used to say I quit in arguments. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, so
Yeah.
we used to have this thing where he used to be like, I quit, and I'd be like, I'm over it.
I love
You
it.
quit and I'm over it. No, we
Yeah.
can just on to something else. And
Yeah.
we'll
Moving
laugh
on.
about it.
Moving on.
For
Yeah.
sure.
It's great.
This one here, be impeccable with your word. Release the need to be right.
Hey.
Release
Someone
need to
just
be
said,
right.
I quit.
Right. Right.
Right.
When you believe something, you assume you are right.
Mm.
And you may even destroy relationships in order to defend your position.
The double down.
Let go of the need to defend your position.
I love it.
That doesn't even need to be spoke on.
Yeah.
And then don't take anything personally.
Mhm.
Be immune to others' opinions. What others say and do is a projection of their own reality,
Mm-hmm.
their own dream. When you are immune to the opinions and actions of others, you won't be the victim of needless suffering.
Yeah, I love it. I always say the affirmation, it's none of my business what you think of me. Because it really is.
Right.
All right, we've got always do your best. And it says practice makes the master. By doing your best over and over, you can master the art of transformation. By doing your best, the habits of misusing your words, taking things personally, and making assumptions will become weaker and less frequent with time. Amen.
Yes.
Are we into who said that? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's give it.
Who said that?
You gonna let them know?
Yeah, so I gotta do a little build up for this one. This
Drum roll.
absolutely can be one of the most prestigious, validated opinions on the face of this earth if you want it to be. And it can also mean absolutely nothing to people out there as well. And so it is the Facebook.
We got y'all.
Yeah, so that quote just came from Facebook, but part of that is that signs everywhere, signs, and you also read it when you need it. So sometimes you might be on Facebook scrolling and something pops up and you read it and you're like, whoa, that was made for me, you know, and you don't necessarily have to know who wrote it. And someone might have not even sent it to you in the physical sense of them clicking and doing the things, but maybe the universe can send you some things on the good old Facebook.
Yeah.
All right. We have one last thing that we'll do before we head out. You had some philanthropy shout out that you wanted to speak on.
So I just, because of the signs everywhere, signs. I always focus on. I love like Native American history, Native American astrology. I love animal totems. These are things that I've always thought were beautiful. So I kind of just ventured into the world of natives, and Native Americans in Philanthropy is an actual website, and it's just nativephilanthropy.org, and they have been established for over 30 years now. With that comes the concept Native Americans in Philanthropy, Native Youth Grant Makers. And so they are facilitating grants to then advocate for their Native American communities. Now, you can get involved by just going to their website, which I think is a great way to start. One way of making an inclusive world altogether and to actually focus on philanthropy, which is creating those community connections and developing support in places that you don't know about. So go to the website, read, sit there, think about people that aren't you, and investigate a situation that maybe you could get involved in, or you could find a way to filter in your energy or your currency into helping out others. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that to the table. Thought it was kind of fun. And also, while you do that, you can ask for signs and affirmations from the universe and see if it backs you up. Maybe you'll get an animal friend or something that nudges you along the way.
Yeah. I mean, it all ties into everything that, you know, we do for ourselves, we essentially do for others, right? And so I actually recently went to a training for trainers, positive Indian parenting.
Yes.
And it was kind of unique because out of 26 people, all of them were women except for me and one other father. And, you know, it made a friend of mine's friend who invited, because I'm starting a session weekly to teach the 8 lessons of positive Indian parenting to 2 mothers starting this coming up week. And she was like, oh, my other friend was going to come, but she was weirded out because it's a guy teaching it. I'm like, I can see where that narrative would play a big role, because I literally sat in a class with only one other father, and there was almost 30 people in that class, and it was a woman instructor. But needless to say, like, I'm a father of 7. I've been active in all of my kids' upbringing. I'm a grandfather, and you know, I've delved into learning about my Native and Indigenous heritage. You know, that's in my blood. So a lot of this, for me, is just about pursuing my internal evolution and then getting, you know, certifications to give back. So there needs to be more dads that get involved in this stuff too, you know, that I know are hands-on dads that could use and remember, because trainings like this, I believe, are about memory, remembering the old traditions and the old ways and the tribal ways that we raised our children in villages. And yeah.
I love it. I was like, for some reason that made me think of like when you're teaching and advocating, the natives actually used a lot of signs and symbols to develop storylines and structures to guide their children along. And so a lot of the time they were using animal archetypes to showcase different skills or tools to then show forms of like leadership. So like one of my favorite ones is like an eagle. Like, you want to be like an eagle, especially in conflict or turmoil. You want to fly above it. and you want to see the whole picture.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's a really cool like parenting tool,
Yeah.
because a kid can easily like look at that concept and be like, oh
It's
yeah,
relatable.
I could be like an eagle, you
Mhm.
know, and bringing back those traditions. I think is a great way of grounding ourselves back in some stuff that was totally working.
Yeah, one of my favorite
Right.
one of my favorite lessons to actually teach, and even when I trained it, I got to teach it as part of the training is the storytelling aspect. Like
I
we
love
often
that part.
forget to tell the good old tales, the stories, you
Yeah.
know, Old Man Coyote, or you know, these different things like helped really mold people, and you could teach lessons about what not to do, like you know,
Yes.
explain dangerous situations with a story about, you know,
Absolutely.
it's just a great resource, and it's a great tool that I have in my toolbox, and I'm honored to have been a part of it, and I'm honored to be able to share it with others. And
Yeah.
so
I was like one of the most I don't know the article or the source that I found it, but when I was learning about parenting, becoming a parent, I started to try to find tools, and I read that the cultures that use storytelling in their parenting are some of the most successful cultures in terms of raising actually good human beings, well-rounded human beings, because again, I think what Jill said is it's relatable. And so this is just one that we use in our family, and it's so goofy silly, but it totally works. And it's called the snake man. Okay. And so like anybody can do this. So the snake man comes out on the trails when we're walking on the trails. And if you're a little kid that's tiny, and maybe my little daughter, and you're walking too far away from your parents because that's something she likes to do, she likes to wander, rather than telling her like horrific stories that are way above her age range, we just say, hey man, did you know that there's a snake man? And then her dad will go, and that the snake man comes if you walk too far away from your parents, you know? And so she'll walk a little bit too far, and she will even check herself. She'll turn around and she'll go, do you think that snake man's coming right now? And I'll be like, I think so, you know? And like we did this at the mountain, and we used the Yeti. The Yeti was our example. And then we literally were sitting down at a restaurant, and she tells the guy that's serving us, she's like, have you ever met the Yeti? Do you know about the Yeti? And then she's like, my mom met the Yeti, because my mom was not being a listener when she was a kid. and then the guy was like, oh yeah, man, the Yeti totally shows up when we're not listening to our parents, you know, especially because we got to be safe when we're on the mountain, you know. And then he started talking about safety rules about the mountain. And like, we didn't pull him aside and we're like, hey, this is what we're doing to teach our kid. It was community right away.
Village mentality.
Yes.
Like being able to connect with people and just know that as a whole, as a human race, like we want our children to be safe
and to stay alive.
And collaborating with other parents it's just something that comes natural.
Absolutely. It was so like easy and beautiful. And then the other point is, I don't even think that guy that we interacted with had kids. Like he was a little bit younger, but he immediately was like, this is my chance, you know. And he even enjoyed himself. So like, it wasn't just about me, it wasn't just about my kid, it was about him, and like all of us participating in community. And anyways, that's just the way to do it, I'm telling you.
All right, look, we have had the most fun. We will be back
To be
in
continued.
5 days on Jill's birthday with Jill to talk about Jill, to celebrate Jill.
Oh boy.
And our part 2 to the PB&J series, and we'll still be getting into some signs and some more stuff about, you know, anger management. I have some stuff about that I'll bring into next episode. So
Perfect.
make sure you follow us on PIETalk Podcast on any of your favorite podcast platforms. PIETalk Podcast, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. We have a TikTok. And if you have any submissions for philanthropy, that anybody you want to shout out, it doesn't have to be grand or any big thing. Just somebody that you'd like us to honor because you're a fan of the show, and you know they're a fan of the show, and you want to hear them honored for something cool that they did. Either drop it in the Facebook Messenger, or you can email us at pietalkpodcast@gmail.com.
I love it.
Till next time.
Take it easy.